London, Ontario is trying to move forward with a proposed new bus rapid transit project, despite sustained opposition from some citizens and business owners. Are there lessons for the rest of the province in London's transit debate? Joining us now on that from our studio at Western University in London, Martin Horak. He is Associate Professor of Political Science at Western University. And Martin, we're delighted to welcome you to our program. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's great to be on the program, Steve.
Excellent. Let me just read a little excerpt from Mary Baxter's piece that she wrote on our website, tvo.org, to set up this discussion. Here we go. When building a rapid transit system for London, Ontario, became a municipal election issue in 2014, voters responded enthusiastically to the idea. Many of the candidates they elected to council, including the city's new mayor, Matt Brown, had pledged support to the project as part and parcel of a new 20-year municipal plan to foster growth. Fast forward 4 years, another municipal election is approaching on October 22nd, and rapid transit once again occupies center stage in the public debate, only not in a way its supporters might have hoped. All right, take us back. Let's start here. Tell us about the transit that the city was hoping to build that became such a part of the 2014 election campaign.
Well, the proposal for transit really came out of a planning process, the 20-year plan process, which first started in 2012. And so the proposal that was on the table during the election of 2014 is actually not that different for what's being pursued now. It involves two lines of rapid transit that meet in the middle of London, forming a sort of big X, about 24 kilometers in total. And the lines are meant to run on existing main streets, but in dedicated rights-of-way, so dedicated lanes. And at the time, the talk was about bus rapid transit, just as it is right now, rather than LRT or other options. Now, the other thing I should note, though, Steve, that's interesting is that you mentioned that it was a 2014 election issue. The broader London plan, the broader growth plan, was an election issue. And most of the folks who got into council, as well as our current mayor, supported the London plan. The rapid transit is part of that plan, but the rapid transit itself actually wasn't discussed that much during the election. In fact, the election was mostly about restoring trust in local government because we'd had a fairly dysfunctional 2010 to 2014 council. So the folks who got in 2014 endorsed and supported this rapid transit plan, but there hadn't been a lot of discussion of it specifically in the election.
Okay, let us bring up a map. I think it might be helpful for people to see that sort of X formation that you just described. And here we go. This, there we've got Western University and Fanshawe College at the top of the map, the red line, the northwest route, the blue line, the southeast route. And maybe you could just give us a sense about, you know, whether this was supposed to be LRT or bus rapid transit, or how did they see it unfolding?
Right. Well, it's been interesting because over the last 4 years, that has kind of gone full circle, this debate. It started out as a bus rapid transit plan. And then in late 2015, city officials put some other options on the table. They said, well, maybe it should be LRT, or maybe we should have a hybrid with one line LRT and one line bus. Council debated this, and they were quite enthusiastic and unanimously endorsed a hybrid option in late 2015. Now, I think it's no coincidence that this was just after the Trudeau federal government had got elected. This project, like all big projects, needs to be funded by 3 levels of government, and I think that local officials felt that maybe they could ask for something a little more than bus rapid transit. So for a while, there was some LRT on the table, which would have raised the cost significantly from about $500 million to about $900 million. And then there was an extended debate within the city that didn't really involve the broader public about whether it should be LRT or bus rapid transit. Ultimately, later on in 2016, council kind of backpedaled and they went back to a BRT system, and that's really what's on the table right now.
The BRT is on the table. All right, well, given the 3 options that you just outlined, namely a bus rapid transit line, a light rail line, or some mix of the two, have you come to a conclusion yourself on what would be best for London at this current juncture?
Well, I think that the LRT or the hybrid choice would have been a really hard sell to other levels of government. It's a lot more expensive. LRT comes with certain benefits. It tends to be more attractive to investors, and so it can spur investment along lines more than BRT. It can also move more people. But the fact is that London doesn't need to move that many people right now. There's a strong argument for bus rapid transit because our current bus lines, the main ones, are really getting clogged up. But there isn't really the need for LRT right now. And if we look to Waterloo Region, for example, the LRT project there is spurring billions of dollars in new development, but London isn't Waterloo Region. It's a little smaller, it's less dense, and it's growing more slowly. So I'm not sure that the benefits would be there to support LRT. I think the bus rapid transit option, which is where City Council landed, is really the best one for London right now, and it's what London needs.
And how about public opinion in London? Is it essentially on side with the change back to bus rapid transit?
No. It's interesting. We don't know exactly because there really hasn't been any reliable polling. So it's honestly really hard to tell what broader public opinion is. But what I can say is that until last year, until 2017, even though there was a discussion within the city about BRT versus LRT and the shape of the project, there really wasn't a high-profile, broader public discussion. The city did do some outreach, but it was pretty low-key. And there was very little controversy until 2017. And in retrospect, I think this should have been a bit of a red flag for city politicians because big projects like this are always controversial. They're expensive and they often disrupt the livelihoods and lives of people along the lines during construction. And so the fact that there wasn't a lot of public debate until 2017 was a little bit of a problem. I think city officials probably needed to be out there leading the debate more forcefully, explaining what was going on to the public, and also engaging with folks like business owners and residents along the prospective lines. Because what did happen was that in January 2017, the final proposals, or actually I should say the next to final proposals, but the detailed proposals for the lines were unveiled. And suddenly all kinds of opposition sprang up, where there had been none before, it seemed. It was led by downtown business owners who were concerned about construction impacts, and they banded together under the name of a group called Downshift, and they printed up lawn signs and so on. And the opposition quickly spread. And the whole tone of the debate really got very much beyond what the city would have wanted it to be. It became a debate not just about the specifics of the project, but do we need rapid transit? Is it a boondoggle? Why is it being rammed down our throats? And so there was a very loud debate in the first half of 2017. Since the first half of 2017, that's kind of died down, but now there's an election heating up, and I think a lot of challengers sense that there's an opportunity to score political points. That said, really we don't know about broader public opinion because it's always the voices of opposition that you hear loudest in projects like this.
And just so I'm clear, you say an opportunity for prospective politicians in the municipal campaign to come in October, scoring political points by running on a pro-BRT platform? Is that what you're saying?
No, in fact, running on an anti-BRT platform.
Anti-BRT, okay.
Yes, yeah, because there's a sense here, and we really don't know, but there's a sense that potentially there's widespread opposition to this because of this backlash that came up in the early part of 2017. And so, for example, the two folks who have so far declared that they might challenge Matt Brown for mayor have both come out critical of the BRT plan. That said, the mayor and virtually all of council are still on board with the plan. So it's going to be an interesting election issue. And we're going to have the debate that we probably should have had earlier because there really wasn't a public debate about this until very recently.
Gotcha. Well, we look forward to having you back on and discussing further as this plan wins its way through the political process. Thanks so much.
Well, it's great to be here. Thanks, Steve.
That's Martin Horak, Western University.
The Agenda with Steve Paikin is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario, helping businesses stay on the right side of change with strategic thinking, insightful decisions, and business leadership. Are you on the right side of change? Ask an Ontario CPA.